I'm not 100% sure. Like, but one thing this is actually a good point you bring up about like interaction. But you know, you have like a GPS and a Vorlock.
Yeah.
It doesn't do anything because we override it with the mode selector that you're in the autopilot. So you don't have to worry about that. If you're in the right mode for the actual autopilot, it sets that itself.
Yeah.
So, because it's kind of, you know, it's here to help us navigate, but it's not doing everything. We've got an autopilot that is custom with default stuff in it as well.
Wendwood, the typical aircraft engineer that he is asking if the engine generator power units are in kilovolt amps or millijoules per yoctomile.
Oh,
Lord,
that's a great question. They're in something.
Good.
Yes. They're in something. I'm not 100% sure on that one, actually. I should know. The gauges of some of them there. Like, I think it just reads amps and then something else.
Cool. So, now in terms of when we want to go onto the ILS and everything like that, I wonder if I should set my HSI up. Well, actually, because it's going to just lead us round onto it, isn't it? You can
set the
nav.
HSI now, if you want to, because it's not going to affect the nav,
yeah.
if you know what I mean.
So I can
it just does its own thing.
go to heading, and I can say, well, we're going in on 06. So if I set it up, is that in, oh wait, now I'm getting confused because I've got this outer ring and then the inside ring.
Yeah, because the inside there's course and heading.
Ah, okay, cool. So which one am I wanting for my? So if I'm going to go heading select, am I using the inner ring or the outer ring?
I've confused myself now. I think the outer ring.
There's only one way to find out.
You can also look at if you look at your global map, you can do a sort of a general sense, you know, which way are we pointing on your.
Oh yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? Like
well, we should be. Yeah, we should be. Yeah. So I think the inner is heading because we're now basically on a downwind leg, aren't we? We're heading towards 240, and we should be pretty much over the VOR or in that direction. I think we've just. Oh yeah, I think we're turning towards the VOR now by the looks of it. Yeah. So if I go and then set this. Yeah, we'll have to see. It's fine. We can work it out. Does it have altimeter call out? Oh god, I dread to think.
It does actually. Actually, we can. The one thing we can set to hit the best of all call-outs is we can set the minima. Now, it's a bit odd. They set it on the rad-alt, even though we're doing Cat 1. But the rad-alt is just next to the VSI. And if you wind that, the bottom right knob is the bug. And you can set that to 60. That's 60 meters. RA is like roughly 200 feet. Roughly.
60, got it.
Yeah. That's approximate, you know.
Got it. Cool. Right. So we're just through 5,000 feet. I feel like I should be slowing down.
Yeah. Whatever you think. You
so
know.
I remember. I think it was about 400 kilometers an hour. Was about 213 earlier, wasn't it? So I think that's maybe a good time to start thinking about slowing down. We're at a nice steady rate of descent as well. So we're at about 700 feet per minute still, which is looking good.
It's just a plane. That's what I'll say to people. It's just a plane. It does the same things as other ones. Don't be too intimidated by it.
I'm going to take the slats as well now because we're below the barber pole. I think we're just below the barber pole for it.
Yeah,
anyway, we're
just
close
about.
anyway,
I think it's 5 something. They're actually written in the checklist if people wonder what are the speeds.
Got close there actually to over speed.
I think the next one is 410 from memory.
Cool.
Something like that. 410 kilometers.
So I need to have a look. Yeah, this is okay. That's fine. We're just gonna YOLO this thing back. We're just gonna start to bring it back. So we've got. Yeah, we're looking good. So we're through 4,000 feet. Speed's kind of coming back nicely. Good lord, I've got to actually get it into ILS mode and everything. So we should just be able to switch to approach and everything, shouldn't we? And
Is the nav track it's got going to bring it onto the approach or like
yes,
the base?
it should do.
Yeah,
should.
We can leave it in nav now because if you go to approach, remember, it's not going to follow anything.
Yeah, the only thing that I've got is that
it's going to just go poof.
Yeah, we're quite far away from it. So we're going to level out at 3,000 a lot earlier than I thought we would, but luckily there's no terrain around. But it's fine because it gives me a chance to slow it down, right?
Yeah. This isn't the sort of thing where you're going to be, you know, gliding. Your single pilot with 6 people's workload, you know. It's not going to be the sort of thing you bring a CDA on, I don't think. I mean, I've done it once, and I was like, that's a miracle.
Cool, so that's fine. So we're shortly going to be leveling out at 3. Yeah, it says about 500 feet per minute. So we might be all right, actually. Yeah, because no, we're absolutely perfect. Because I said actually to be 4 nautical miles before LX061.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to be leveled out at 3,000 anyway, but it's followed that profile that we've set in there absolutely fine. So that's great.
It works quite well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, so I'm worried about the next stage of flat and whether I'm going to overspeed them.
You shouldn't. 410 it should be. There we go. Put my money on the line.
Oh, we're right on the cusp.
It was 410. It was 410. We're all good. You'll get a light that says high speed if you went over the limit,
cool.
and you didn't, so you're good.
I'm not using any sort of... And here we go, we've got blue now, so AP altitude,
Yeah.
so it's going to try and capture 3,000 feet.
Exactly.
And then we can just bring that speed back now. We've got quite an interesting turn on to final. Chat, I'm getting nervous.
Now this is, I will say, this is where the danger happens, right?
Yeah.
Because you get 300 set kilometers and you think, oh, that's fast. It isn't. It's
No.
like, it's actually pretty slow.
So I just want to be careful with the pitch on the nose and everything as well, don't we?
Yeah, you can see your angle of attack is just below your airspeed. It's on the bottom left. It's at like 6 degrees now, which is okay.
Also, next stage of flap, I think.
Yeah, yeah, I would.
Next stage of flap, let's bring that in. So it looks like we're turning base, chat. Gear is still locked. Yeah, let's bring that bottom lock out the way, shall we? We can bring the gear down when we need to.
If you're right in doing that, but if you do use your default gear commands, it will do it itself.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
So
but you're right, you know.
Yeah, we're at about 165 knots at the moment.
That is, I think that's spot on. You got a lot of flap out, good speed, and yeah.
Yeah, we're flat 25, no gear.
That's good. That's good.
So now it's a case of really getting us onto the ILS, which we could almost do. So I could technically, if I wanted to, go wings level right now, couldn't I?
Yep.
Leave ourselves on wings level, and then switch to approach, and then I need to go down here and go to approach as well, right?
Top left, yeah,
Top
exactly.
left for land.
Yeah.
And then, do I need to do anything else now?
Yeah, you press the middle button, the lateral button, the one that arms the localizer.
Oh, yeah.
That's it. And now it's holding its wings level that it had before. That's where the wing level light is on. And it's armed the localizer because it's like, hey, I want to capture the course, and it will do that itself.
And do
now
I
just
need
wait.
to arm the glide slope button as well?
You can, but I would wait till you're on the lock.
Oh, yeah.
I
that's
don't
fine.
know if it would cause anything goofy, but, you know.
Yeah. Perfect. Right, so is that 16 nautical miles? 16 kilometers.
Top left, see the 8.9 miles, 8.8. That's
Yeah.
the one that we can set to. That's the one we can set to kilometers or
Right,
miles.
looks like we've got the localizer.
Should do it. There we go.
Yeah, and there's
See?
the runway. Cool, so now I can arm the glide
Yeah,
slope.
you can do the glide now. Yeah, exactly. And you can do the gear if you want. This
Yeah.
is pretty conservative, but this is how I fly it: conservatively and defensively.
Yeah. Right, so there's the gear. Do I need to do the reverser thing up?
Yeah, you can put that up. You should do. Yeah.
Okay, reverser is erect. Sorry, I mean, you can't not think of that when it's in that position, really, can you? So we got these speed brakes are armed. I think I've got some landing lights on. We've got our reversers erect. Yeah, I'm still in auto thrust at the moment. So what we'll do is we'll think about disconnecting that in a moment. I think I'm going to probably take out the autopilot in a second.
Yeah, I would if you can.
I'm just going to make
see how
sure that
flies.
I'm just going to make sure that it captures the glide slope, which I think we can see that it has done.
It will start to do it shortly. It's kind of just wandering around a bit.
Yeah. So I've got one more stage of flap. So should we go for that now?
Yeah, you can do it now. Yeah, absolutely.
So one more
yeah, I was going to say maybe it'll balloon it above the glide, but that's okay. There you go. I can see it's got the glide now. See how it's pointing down?
Yeah.
You can see it's already going for it.
Cool. So our landings,
But
and we're aiming for the blue pole
Yeah.
as well. Aren't
So what
we?
you can do now, because it might descend a bit, because I think the flaps come out, you can take the autopilot off, the auto thrust off. Yeah.
Auto thrust is off, and then
That's
autopilot is out as well.
Exactly. And now you're aiming for that blue marker. That's your approach speed.
Bring that back. Nice that it's a lovely. I'm so glad the weather's nice in Luxembourg today.
Yeah.
And I need to make sure that all 6 engines are even on the...
Yeah, that's true. Tips for landing, I would say you idle it a lot earlier than you think. Okay. So you idle it when you're like, you know, like in a GA aeroplane, when you go over the threshold and you idle it, you do it then. You don't do it like flare then idle. You kind of idle it as you come over the threshold. Small flare. It's quite a lot of ground effect because the wing is enormous.
Yeah.
But it's not as much ground effect as you might think because it's a high wing. Okay. So it's further away, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say that we're... So am I aiming for the white on the speed?
The blue
just...
marker.
Yeah. But does it need to be on the blue, or like, am I aiming a little bit above it?
No, just you can be a little bit below. That's fine. You know, whatever. It being a bit below would be okay. Your weight is pretty light, so it's not going to be a problem.
Yes, we are gear down. Yeah, we are gear down. We're gear down, full flaps at the moment. We don't know whether reverse is going to work or not, but that's why I chose Luxembourg, because it's a bloody long runway. But I'm going to turn the sounds up, chat. It's really stable to fly.
Yeah, it's got a lot of momentum, right? Or inertia.
Yeah. But it's not so much where I feel like I'm... Do you remember the default A321 in FSX days? Where you would make an input and it was 4 hours later?
It's pretty responsive on the controls. You know, because people do say like, well, it's you know, it's this. I'm like, yeah, but it's hydraulics. You know, it's like.
Right, here we go then, chat. My first landing in the Antonov 225. Now I think there's a nasty upslope on this runway, so please forgive me if it goes wrong. Yeah, I can already see the upslope. Look at that upslope, that's disgusting. Roller coaster ride, that. Right, so we're going to idle. Little flare, not much. Lost the centre line, but that's fine.
Good, nice job. That's good, especially with that hump. That's not an easy thing to land. You got it down, you know. Reverses did work. I think they unlocked at least.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I just need to move it
now they're coming up, see.
And there we are. That wasn't too bad. It was off the centre line and stuff, but
it's fine.
Yeah, I mean,
if you watch some videos of them landing it, that tends to happen. Yeah. Actually, because it's just so big, getting off the centre line is easy.
Yeah.
Because you know, it's every time you think, oh, I'm off by a lot, you're like, not really. It's just the scale, you know.
I'm just glad I didn't bin it. And there we go, chat.
Good job, that was.
We're down. Hey, Nuria has landed in Luxembourg.
And did you see? You don't really need much braking.
No, not at all. I didn't do anything.
You do a bit of tab, yeah. It like, you know, it really starts to slow itself down. You know.
There we go. London City next time, chat. Can you imagine? There we go. Get the spoilers out the way. Get the flaps out the way. I can breathe now. I know. I won't lie to you. I was a little bit nervous. I don't know how many people are watching right now. I did check when I went AFK and saw 920. So I don't know how many people are watching now, but there we are. Amazing.
But I think if you're happy with this, the easiest thing to do is you just park it somewhere, and then I'll talk through what you would do, because it's a bit confusing trying to say, oh, do this, start this, turn that, press this while you're taxiing. You know, it's a lot, especially on the first one.
We'll get clear, and then we'll stop here. So I've got the flaps out the way and the speed brake. So we'll hold here on Alpha. There we are, and I'll just set the parking brake, so we're not going to roll anywhere. There we are. Cool.
Exactly.
So we're set.
Now, the one thing I wanted to talk about, but I didn't mention it on the approach because it's busy, right? Is you see the landing gear. Now, there's this funny quirk. So you did exactly the right thing. You put the gear down, it goes down, but you know what you actually do? You put it back to neutral, and you lock it with the guard. So you land with the gear in the middle.
Wow.
Yeah. So have a look at pictures and videos of the 225, and the gear is in the middle when it's on the ground. It's not down. Yeah.
Yeah, because somebody commented on that earlier on and said, oh, gear's in the up position, so I moved it, but actually it was in the correct position.
Yeah, exactly. And I think on the overhead, on the annunciator lights, it should, that light, what does that say?
Gear leave it in neutral.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so it's basically like saying it's not there, so you need to put it there. It doesn't.
And
do
now
any
it's
damage
gone
or
now.
anything.
Yeah, now it's gone, and then we can lock it.
It's a funny thing about the 225. So
That's so cool.
it's cool, right? So we're here now. So now we need to think about, you've done all the correct things. You've done the lights. You put the spoilers away. Sorted that out. So now we need to start the APUs. So
Right.
we can go and try and do that.
So I'm
Yeah.
not gonna. So okay,
keep
first
quiet.
thing that we need to do is we need to get the APU fire loops, and I'm gonna do one at a time.
Yeah.
So APU fire loop open, then we want the master guard, and we want the master switch. Go on, and then we need to open this and select the APU starter, and then we can have a look at the gauges, which are up the top, to make sure that we've got, this is EGT on number 1, and then we've got RPM's going to rise on here.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. And it takes a second. You think, I remember, you know, when you look now, you think, oh, it's not starting. See, it takes a while for the air intake to open.
Yeah.
That's what you're waiting for there.
Got you.
That's it. So when these are both started, then we'll move across to the electrical panel and do that. But honestly, for that approach, for that slope, I think you did a really good job.
I forgot about the slope on 06 until I saw it. I was like, oh god.
I remember thinking in the back of my head when you said Luxembourg, I was like, one of these runways has got a really bad slope.
Yeah. And of course, that's only
the
the second time I've ever had to do 06. Every other time I've always been on 2.4 as well. So yeah.
Gotta say this, it's cool that it's in the scenery.
Yeah,
It's cool.
yeah, absolutely.
It's nice. It's really nice. It really gives that extra challenge. And did you see you did the right thing where you idled it early, and it kind of goes on, if you know what I mean. Like it floats a bit, but then it puts itself down. And actually, you can, because it's got so many gear, it kind of like, it's an odd sensation. But you've just landed it now. But I think it like goes brr, like it settles down.
Yeah,
because
it does its own thing. That's it. You don't feel like you need to. You're not wrestling it at all.
No.
You don't really feel like you need to do a whole lot. Right, let's get this second APU going.
And I think it's nice because we tried to really capture that in the plane, you know, like its characteristics as such. To me, it doesn't feel like it flies like many other things in the sim.
No.
It's its own thing.
It feels heavy, but it doesn't feel too heavy. Like, I felt like I could, even though I got a little bit off track and got to the left of the center line, I didn't feel like then for the rest of the approach, I was wrestling it back to get it back onto the center by any means. But at the same time, it didn't feel like I could F-16 it and just go, you know, right, you know, and get it back on within a second or so. It's heavy but not unwieldy. That's it. Max popped it perfectly. That's exactly the way to describe it.
And when you watch them fly it on videos, I recommend, like I say, Dmitry Antonov's channel's got everything under the sun there to try and see him flying the airplane. Compare it to what you have in the sim now, and you'll see that they, you know, there's just where they do displays in it. The roll rate's pretty good.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it, you know, because I know there's this. It's not a myth. It's not the right way to say it, but a lot of people in flight sims think big plane is going to be heavy.
Yeah.
Yes, if there's no hydraulics. But there is hydraulics, so it can mask that. But there's only so much you can mask when it's 600 tons. Then it does feel heavy. So they're started. So now we can go down to the electrical panel, which is on the bottom. This one here. So now what we can do is turn on the APU generators, which is the bottom right silver switches. Yeah. And then we can turn off the engine generators, so the 1, 2, 3, 4, exactly. And then we move across to the hydraulic panel, you know, the kick-out panel on the side.
Yeah.
And the flaps are up, right?
A firm, the flaps are in the up position. Yeah.
Okay, great. So now you remember where all the hydraulic switches were, the guarding, turn them all off.
Yeah.
That's it. And you don't have to do this because it takes a while, but now you would turn all the fuel pumps off. You can leave them on, it's not a problem.
Yeah.
The ones that you definitely don't want to turn off, you see the ones that are under the red guard, they will shut the engine down.
Cool.
The rest won't, because it will gravity fuel feed. So it's like it's not like a normal, you know, some of the aircraft that when you turn the pumps off, the engines die.
Yeah.
That's not the case here, but if you turn those ones off, they will, because it's the fuel valve. So okay. So you can just leave them, which is easier. So we've got that off, we've got the hydraulics off, we've got the electrics on. Yes, so now we have to go back to the captain's seat. And you know all those white switches that we put on the side panel thing?
Up here?
Yeah, these. Turn them all off.
Oh, and do I need to do that on the
first officer's side?
Yeah. Cool.
And you can do the same on the navigator station. Those, remember those big list of silver switches? Yeah, that's it.
This is cool, but I don't see the majority of flight simmers taking the time to learn it. Well, that's fine, and that's what's great, is the fact that you don't need to. It's got an auto start feature, so you can literally just auto start it, spawn on a runway, yeet it up into the sky, and go and have fun with it, load in the flight plan in the Garmin via the map menu. So that's fine. It doesn't need to be a thing where loads of people have to learn this. The point is that if you want to, you can. So
yeah, and also the autocomplete stuff. You can use the checklist, but just say autocomplete, 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 and it will just do it for you if you want. You don't even have to care what it's doing. You're like, I don't know, it's doing something. It's like, but it's doing its thing. Yeah, you can see the ident thing showing there. See that?
Yeah, that's really
Cat
cool.
1 runway. Yeah, that works. So that's all powered down now. We've done the side panels. So now we can turn the engines off. So that's good. So you know where you started the engines under those panels? Yeah. Now, if you want to, this is only one of those sort of like showing what we have simulated. The ones below the thrust levers, they will also turn the engines off, but they're the emergency backup. So that's not the normal way to turn the engines off. The guarded switches that are in yellow below there, but that's fine. We can leave them. They will turn them off. Yeah, they will turn them off, but it's not the normal one.
Right,
so now what we do is, you see on the very top here, we have the 6 guarded red switches.
Yeah.
Yeah. So unguard all of those. And now you just turn all 6 of them off, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now the engines will turn off.
Cool, we'll go and have a look outside, listen to the sounds. How do you get to the autocomplete section? Is that in the MSFS checklist thing?
Yes, yeah, it's in the assistance options, autocomplete checklists, and then you can do it like that.
Cool.
Yeah.
I assume it comes with an in-depth manual and flows. Yeah, you can get that on the INI Builds forum, I believe. And there's even like a route documentation. So if you want to replicate some real-world routes that it did, then you can do that, just like they did with the Beluga for a previous platform as well, which was really useful. Cool, right, there we go. So engines are shut down.
Exactly. So now we can... one thing I've misled you on. We didn't turn the APU bleeds off. It's fine. The APUs were off. Whatever. So now... That... Oh, and the engine FADEX you can turn off now. So that top left part.
So FADEX.
That's it.
So FADEX.
And actually, while we're here, do you hear that ident?
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm hearing the ident. Yeah.
So now I'll show you this because it will drive you crazy otherwise. You know where you set the frequency for on the nav panel? So the inner knob is the volume. So you can turn that, twist it down. So the one...
Oh, this one here.
Yeah, exactly. I think you got it. No, sorry, the inside. So the bigger knob that sticks out. So the one that's a bit,
Here, that's brightness. Wait.
I think you got it. It's not playing anymore.
MHZ knob.
That's okay. You can just detune it. Anyway, it's there. It's basically one of these. The outer knobs does the volume on VHF1, VHF2. So.
Oh, Moore's volume. There it is.
There
It's on the right-hand side.
Yeah, that's it. I couldn't remember myself. So it's one of those two does the volumes.
And then one is the overspeed and stall warnings. There, you've got the barber pole there. So that would be your overspeed.
Yep. And that's it really. The plane's shut down now. So if you really truly wanted to shut it down, you would turn the
we get the chocks and stuff in and
the batteries off
and everything like that. So let's do.
Oh, can you connect the GPU as well? I could show that.
Oh yeah, that's good. Yeah. Cool. Should we open the main door again?
Do it.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Do it. Open the internal door as well if you can, because then we can wander through it. That's it. And then if you go back to the electrical panel, there's a lot of button pressing, I know. The bottom right of the electrical panel, there should be a silver switch. The panel to your right, sorry.
Oh, sorry, I'm on the wrong bloody panel.
No,
that's
don't
why.
worry, there's a lot of panels. So...
This one here.
Yeah, that's it. Turn that on and then turn the APU generators off.
Yeah, got it. Cool. And then could I technically shut down the APUs?
Yeah, you can do that now.
So then APU, it's these, isn't it? APU right stop.
So now it's going to shut down, but we've got the external power already connected, and you turn the generators off, so it's fine. Yeah. I mean, I'm telling you how to do this. This is in like a roundabout order. The checklist shows you how to do it. It's fine. And you can poke your head through this little spot here, and it will actually let you go down. There's a gap in the mesh.
Let's see if I can find it. I'm fat, chat. All right, I know I'm fat.
Yes, you got it.
There we go. There we go, and we can go and have a look. We've successfully delivered the boiler.
Yeah. I think it's cool, right? You took that. You took it all the way there, all the way here. That's it.
There we go. Right, let's go and have a look outside, shall we? We've got that system running through. I've got the landing lights on, but who cares? Just lets them know that we're here.
You can press L and it actually turns them all off. It's all worked with the default bindings.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. There we
yeah. And you press it again, and they all go off.
That's very cool.
Yeah.